everybody. Welcome to your regular podcast, Knowledge Empowers. With you, as always, it's me, Kat. 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello.
And we have Collage.
Good morning, everyone.
It's continuing with this.
Continue with the energy.
Yes, I will fake it. I will do it every morning. I will do it on every podcast starting now. So.
Starting 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
So I was really thinking the topic for today, and I want to dig deeper of mine and Collage relationship. Ooh. Now I don't want to mention the part when once I've been asked whether I am his mother. And till today it's stuck in my head.
True story.
True story. Besides of us being friends, but it started that I used to be Collage mentor. And then...
Yeah, those are the times when you called me the boy from the 80s. From the 70s. 70s. Sorry, that all. So from the 70s, you know. It was a nice 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Still have you in my phone as a boy from the 70s. And guys, just so you know why, it's because the way he wore his haircut and the way he was dressing, he was like literally like a boy from 70s. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I was wearing at the time, what was it, shirts with West, you know,
yes.
And trying to dress a bit like the guy from The Mentalist. If you see him, the series Mentalist.
You are so far away from him.
Well, that was I tried.
That was your intention. And so we started at, I was like Collage mentor. And then why did you approach me?
I didn't. You approached me. You did.
I did? Oh my God.
You did tsunami. Come on. You're the
guys.
one like, you know, I looked funnier because, you know, the boy from the 70s, and I still feel like I was, you know, you describe yourself like when you're approaching someone that you are a tsunami. So that was the case in this time as well. So that was the first meeting altogether. And I was a web builder at the time, so doing web pages, and you were a requirement manager, something like that. That was the time. And I have no clue how the relationship developed into the mentorship, you know, when it comes to that.
By the way, guys, if you want to be the mentor, do not go to someone and say, I'm going to be your mentor. That's the worst ever.
What happened, Kat?
I don't know. I can't remember it like this. It just
why do you say
No. I don't think it was like that you came to me and you said like, I want to be your mentor or something like that. I don't think that we've even had a stuff. Even I didn't approach you like be my mentor. Like, okay. So it never happened when it comes to that. Like we never reached out that official naming. It wasn't that you approached me, and it wasn't that I approached you in Doctor Strange or like, oh, teach me, master, you know, like that wasn't there anytime. So it was more of a fluid, a flow of relationship, which turned into like, okay, so show me what you do, and I want to learn more what you do, how you do it, so that I can learn from you.
So is that what mentor is? You look at other people and see what they do and learn from it. Usually
it's if you see in someone a specific skill or specific behavior, and it struck you in a way that, oh my God, that's what I want to learn. That's what I want to maybe master. That's what I would like to apply into my daily work. And that's when you approach that person and you stated, this particular thing which I observed, I'd like to learn. Would you be willing to teach me? That should be the approach, I would say, or the natural way. Why I'm saying it shouldn't be the way that me as a mentor, I come to you and I will say, I'm gonna now teach you, or I'm gonna, the problem is, and we did talk about spoiling the talent before, so it can actually have wrong outcomes. Not always, but it can. And it's also usually you as a mentee, you are picking someone because you want to build the trust there. Versus if I come to you and it, like Kolach said, I came like tsunami. And I saw back then that it divided people, that it to some people it attracted them, like Kolach, and then it were people who ran away from me because it was too much. And that's what you don't want to have. So you can offer like, hey, Baruch, I observed this and this, and if you want, I can teach you that. And I'll give you time to think about it. But it shouldn't be that I'll come to you and I'll be your mentor. Because then already that the relationship is not even starting to be built on a proper part. It's the same right now, like even for me, if someone tells me this is going to be your mentor, my immediate answer will be no. You cannot tell me who's my mentor gonna be.
It depends. I don't see it that black and white style. Like no, if somebody tells me, so it's because I think that there is a lot to do with the teaching part, and there is also a teacher,
yes, but I meant in a way that if someone just tell me this is going to be your mentor, and unless you give me the background, why did you pick that person? And if I agree with that background, like, oh, that person has this and that. But my problem is that if someone tells me this is going to be your mentor, and let's say I know that person, and that person, my personal experience with that particular person was, I don't know, lacking in communication, too big time difference, blah, 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 I will never agree to it. I really
and that's maybe different for me, because I will agree to that, because I think that you can learn something from every person. It doesn't necessarily need to be about the specific skill the person was intended to teach you about, but the relationship there, or the person on the other side, can always give you a new perspective or new ideas. You can run and get a feedback from the person which you haven't expected before. So I don't see it as like, okay, even somebody tells me like, this is the person you should be this should be a mentor, and like, oh no, never. Yeah.
Can that be because in my MBTI I'm a judgmental person?
Let's rather not talk about MBTI. That's first thing. The other thing is that there is nothing about judgmental being from the MBTI,
Yeah, it's judging, not judgmental.
That's judgment.
Yep. Yeah, that's the difference there.
But I am judgmental person. I'm sorry. I am. My apologies. So okay,
and here goes the person who was always talking about inclusion and diversity, guys. Like okay, that person.
And that's why it took me years to learn it, because I am really, really judgmental, and I had to suppress it to be more open-minded, and I had to learn it. In a way, and
this is really important for mentorship, like to be open-minded when you are reaching out to someone, or when somebody is reaching out to you. You don't need to like even be a kid. You said that you can come to someone and talk to them, like offer a mentorship. I think that most of the time when somebody becomes a mentor or is asked to be a mentor, it's accidental. Like they don't expect that.
I think it that way.
Yeah, but I think because Kat is so. She knows the importance of a goal, right? So she usually is finding mentor to reach some goal, or so mentoring someone to reach some goal. So I think maybe that's why.
Question is whether it's a mentor or whether it's a teacher, like whether it's somebody who I want to learn from only in the specific skill, or I really want to have this mentorship relationship.
What's the difference really?
I would say that the mentorship is influencing you both ways, not just you as a mentee, like you're not just receiving the skill, but also giving back, and the person your mentor is teaching from you as well. That's what I see as a difference. When it comes to the teacher, it's like the class, like you attend a class, somebody tells you, gives you a knowledge or some sort of a feedback, and that's it. And that's where the relationship ends. On the other hand, mentorship is that you are finding a common ground or time and actually learning from each other. It's not just that you are taking, but you're also giving.
Okay,
That's how I see the difference.
Isn't that the coach Coaching. And what's coaching then?
Coaching is that you actually are not receiving any sort of answer from your coach.
Yeah, we know that from your previous.
That's what I hate. but you see,
coaching attitude.
This is the thing that also for our listeners. So we have teaching techniques, we have mentorship techniques, we have coaching techniques. You also need to find out a little bit about yourself. Which of those suits you, let's say, the best? Like, I know coaching for me makes me super nervous. That it doesn't work for me. I need to have either mentorship or teaching. Like, you tell me, and then I can work from that. But if college is giving me more questions, it creates an anxiety in me. And I had that with others as well, that's not my style. I just can't, I'm not able to thrive from that, let's say like this. So it's also what works. But I wanted to go a little bit back to, I remember when college was a tiny little baby, junior, when you were a junior. So, and he told me his goal for that particular year was that he will meet 50 people, right? And to me, being an extrovert, like, okay, but I didn't get it. Like, why? What is the reason behind? And he always had these crazy goals, either for a month, for a year, etc. But I saw how college, where he started, or when he made those decisions for himself, and now I don't want to say how much he matured, but how much his knowledge deepened and became, I don't know if I can say professional, but our role switched, that in a way that I started to seeking out to college for guidance or for knowledge or for particular practice, or and it's no more that he comes to me, it's always me reaching out to him. Even if I have a job problem, I go, college, I need you to help me set up a goal. College, I need you to help me with it. College, do you have any game that I could apply for this and that? So, you know, I just saw him as a junior, sort of lost in the world, becoming one of the most, in my eyes, knowledgeable person. And we both love psychology in that era that I can learn from, and I love it. So thanks for sticking in my life.
Thank you for these kind words. That was sort of unexpected. You know, we haven't had this in mind when we were planning this podcast. Wing, wing.
Wing, wing. Wink, wink.
Actually, guys, have you ever tried to find a mentor, like by yourself? How was the journey?
I want to go first.
Go.
Okay. I don't think that there is, starting in a professional life, I don't think that there is no time in your professional life when you should be not without a mentor. You should always have a mentor. And if I say not just one, but multiple ones, and it doesn't necessarily need to be in your work, but also other companies or outside of the company itself. Like Kat wasn't my only mentor. I've looked up to other people outside of the company as well as inside of the company. Like there is a lot of inspirational people which you can learn from and have this some sort of mentorship built in.
Yep, same for me. I have multiple mentors. Always depends. So, for example, I literally suck in strategy, like thinking strategically. And as I am a program manager, and I do need to apply a strategy there of where I want that program to bring, or what will be the challenges, etc. And my former manager, she's a huge strategist and has years of experience. So I have specific calls just with her on that particular topic. I suck in it, like literally. So we always, it helps me to brainstorm with her, talk to her. And then when she start, not even explaining, but when she sort of talks and you hear what's in her thinking, like how her brain works, it's just amazing to listen, because I don't think that way. And it's just like, for me, a huge revolution right there when I have a call with her, and then I have so many notes just to take on. Then I'm thinking about it. Okay, how could I approach? What kind of solution? So it gives me that awesome buzz. So I either have my mentors like precisely on specific things that I want to apply or learn, so leadership, strategy, etc. And then I have people like Collage that I can literally talk about anything and everything from my private stuff, etc. But it goes also with the years. We know each other really tons of years, and we went through good and bad, and so we really can talk about anything. So it depends, but it's for me interesting even whenever I have my development sessions and we do open that question: do you have a mentor or a teacher or a coach? And people say, what is that? Why do I need it? It sort of strikes me because you see people who do have mentors shine, not particular like I'm gonna have more money or something, but you really see their growth is much faster, much faster, and they start understanding things way faster. They find themselves faster of who they are, and I saw it with Collage.
Yeah, and what about you? What about you, Baruch?
Currently, I don't have a mentor, but honestly, like I always look up to you two guys. So I wouldn't say like you're official mentors, but I always try to learn from you. Anyway, for me, mentorship is a little bit, I don't know, as you said, Kat, about coaching, it's not really a style that is fitting for you. But for me, I need to kind of find the way the mentorship would work for me. Previously, when I had like official mentors, I always struggled to get any value from that. And now when I look back at it, I think one of the reasons is, first of all, like other people got me the mentors. But at the same time, it's like maybe I didn't get the way the mentorship is supposed to work. And like, what am I supposed to get from that? So for me, this kind of more natural mentorship is, I feel like I'm getting more out of this than if I would have like regularly scheduled sessions. Because what usually happened is that I had nothing to talk about at those sessions. Like it felt very, very forced and artificial conversation to fill that gap that I had in my calendar dedicated to mentorship. So I think, yeah, guys, do you have some kind of recommendation like how the mentorship is supposed to be held?
I have currently a lady who has been assigned to me as a mentee. But interestingly enough, we started, and now I'm going to use the word teaching classes, as Collage said, on project management. So we already have built up relationship because of how deep we went from the project management. And now she sort of contacted me and said, hey, Kat, you've been assigned to me as a mentor. What does that even mean? And so we had to go through, we had a call and I shared with her, we have a deck, like what's mentor, etc. And I just told her, well, we can discuss anything and everything, either what bothers you, what bothers me, stories, experiences, etc. And we can either keep it purely at work, or maybe look at your skills that you want to either enhance or learn, or maybe look at your career. What is it that you would like to do? Or are there some roles that you would like to maybe learn to gain? And that we started to have that conversation first. Not always she could give me answer. Fair enough. She needed a time to think about it. And then, for example, naturally, we just went and she asked me, okay, how did you become a project manager? Like literally taking that role. And I've started sharing with her that yes, you can go through education, gain the certification, but not necessarily it means you will get the project management role. And then I showed her these tips and tricks that why I am active in Pride, right? Because that's where you can practice those skills. And then when you go and apply for a position, you can already share and show that you gain those skills because of da 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 da. And so I'm showing her now the tips and tricks of these particular things. Or for example, she asked me, how do I manage my time? Or how do I, all of these things we do the podcast about, I share with her step by step, but we go really deep in each of that topic. And it just shows me also that three of us, and we went through corporation life for years, but how fast or how far all three of us got with our skill set where we are right now. And then I see people, lots of people who are not even half there where we are. And many times I'm thinking, really going back at the beginning, and I remember my first 4 years when all I did was web builder and then web production lead, but I didn't pay attention to any education or mentoring, etc. And that was the very first time after these 4 years when my manager had a discussion with me. And that was the first time I felt, oh my God, I lost 4 years. But till that time, it never even occurred, nor did I have any deep conversation with my manager, because we just had one manager and it was like 32 of us. So as soon as someone does talking to me, I tell them, educate yourself, thrive, seek for people, talk to the people, gain from them, because that's what will push you fast. Because ever since then, I'm just growing. But I lost these 4 years.
For me, how I would suggest you as a newbie in a company, first, I would reach out to some subject matter experts, SMEs in a shortcut. I think that will be your first usual mentor in the company, because you need to absorb all the technical knowledge regarding your job. Either it could be your colleague, or you can be your sort of a supervisor if you call it that way, team leader, or somebody that is spending a lot of time with you in your community, in your team. That would be someone to look up to first. And as the time goes, you would have one-on-ones with that person, or some sort of shadowings, because first 3 months are really hard when it comes to that, to understand how the process flows and everything. And the usual questions or the usual things is like, how do you do that? And how did you manage to do something specific when it comes to that? Where have you gained this knowledge? So it's not about the person itself, but it's about the thinking and the experience the person has, and to actually absorb or to see as much from it as possible. We are social animals. We are learning from each other. So this is one way how it's actually transcribed in daily life. When I compare it to stories, I think it's about how Harry in Harry Potter, he got his mentors when it comes to teachers, or I think that some of those mentors were like Lupin or his uncle. Sirius. Now all the fans will hate me right now.
Just ask me.
I was thinking if Dumbledore was mentor, but I think that Dumbledore was more of a coach. It was that much of a mentor. He was more of an inspiration.
Father figure.
Yeah, father figure could be a mentor. Yeah. So going for I would go for more serious, because he had already the practical skill that he was teaching Harry.
Yeah.
So in my case, like I had those sessions and I had the experts. I just felt like it's killing time with something that I just have to do.
So exactly, Baruch, like you've said, that it's same for me. I need to have my like heart, my energy in it, and be connected with that person. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And it's okay to agree with that person to cancel it, because you're wasting his or her time as well as yours. And it's more suffering for you than actually gaining. Then what's the point? No point at all. And rather cancel it and then maybe rethink about it, because eventually there will come people in your life. I had a lady that she saw me. I was a presenter on one session, and she approached me. That she said, "Hey, you've mentioned during that that you exercise with girls from the company." And I'm like, "Yeah, could I join?" I'm like, "Of course you can." She joined, and then she exercised with us twice, and then she contacted me. Kat, could we start having often like regular conversation? I'd like to know more about this. Okay. And eventually we became good friends, and now we are visiting her in the middle of Slovakia. It's funny, but sometimes it's that connection that you feel with that person that brings you closer. And then you start building, okay, what is it that you want to share? But if that thing is not there, both sides feel frustrated. And maybe that's how we could close it down. If you have your own knowledge or questions in this topic, leave us comments. Otherwise, 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.